So I'm furiously burning all this money. The police are hammering at the door. I think, right, I'm properly in it.
And you.
Oh, hey, how
yeah,
you doing?
yeah,
Welcome back to the third Griffin and Jones video blog. Basically, what we're going to be talking about this month is we did a gig last weekend, one of our lock-in cabarets, and during the show, partway through our first set...
10 minutes into the show.
Yeah, literally. A lady in the audience fainted.
Just completely full frame, just
out,
hit the
gone.
table. There was cutlery flying. It was amazing. And for those of you who have seen some of our acts, our main sort of club set, it was after some of the more colourful material. So as you can imagine, we were quite proud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a little bit concerned. Only because it was drawing attention from us.
It really ruined the, you know... I mean, I assume she's alright.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've not heard anything otherwise.
You know,
I'm sure the venue would have told us.
I say no news is good news.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Is it no news is bad news? All news is good publicity. Bad news is...
No publicity is good news.
Bad news.
But bad.
Bad news.
Bad news. Bad news. So that got us thinking and talking about some of the weird gigs that we've seen and been a part of.
So we've compiled a list of the top 5 weirdest gigs we've either done or seen.
Number 5. As performers, occasionally we have to deal with hecklers.
Now, we don't like to do this, but you have to, and in that situation you are left with 2 things to do. Firstly, you put the heckler down, and secondly, you slam them for the audience's amusement.
Absolutely, absolutely, and hopefully from there they won't be a problem again. But one night, up at the Edinburgh Fringe at a late night cabaret in the Bongo Club...
You shouldn't be proud of this story,
I'm not
Steve.
proud of this at all. I found myself in the unusual predicament of being in the audience, being heckled by a performer. Now, I think it's fair to say the performer's show wasn't going that well.
No, and her act wasn't really going fantastically well, so she turned on Steve.
Yeah, a little bit. She's kind of swung round to me and made some comment about my shirt being cheap. So at that point, my performer's instinct kicked in and I hit her with a put down. I merely commented that I bought it especially to match her act. You know, which, it's not a great line, but it served a purpose. Unfortunately, I'd had a couple of drinks and I was enjoying myself by that point, and so I just let the momentum see me through. I followed it up, I slammed her, the audience cheered, and I've never felt so guilty for getting a round of applause before.
And the problem is, we've since worked with her.
I don't think she remembered us.
No, she doesn't remember us.
No, she didn't remember us. That was the same night you got a lap dance from an 80-year-old stripper.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It definitely happened. That's all I can remember.
It was an interesting night.
Yeah. Number 4. Now, number 4's story centres around possibly the finest pre-show heckle we have ever had.
2, in fact, in one night.
2 in one night. Basically, we're outside our venue at the Edinburgh Fringe. We're flyering last minute for our show. This woman walks up, what do you say, about 50 maybe?
Yeah, thereabouts. She must have
about
been.
50 years old, holding a flyer for our show. She looks at the flyer, and then looks at us, and says, "Ugh, I put a bra on for this." Which I just thought was brilliant.
What can you say to that? There is no comeback.
It really isn't. I thought it would have been so much better though if she'd have walked up, looked at the flyer, and gone, "Ugh, I took my bra off for this." I thought that would have been better. But she wasn't done.
Oh no, not by a long shot.
So she came into our show, she sat down, and about 10 seconds before we were introduced to the stage, this happened. The compere said, "Please, welcome to the stage." And she threw up everywhere. I'm talking row 3 and 4 and gone.
Washed out of the venue,
She
literally.
was dragged out of the show, kicking and screaming.
The compare's panicking. He's singing a song to try and cover while...
And just as she pulled into the street, I hear one thing out of her mouth. "I want my money back."
It was a free show!
She was my favourite person ever. I didn't even dislike her.
No, you can't dislike someone for that, you know.
I mean, I think she genuinely was mentally ill. But yeah, she was brilliant. I loved her. I loved her a lot.
It was a good night. Number 3. This one's more about a nightmare gig journey, really. We had to travel quite a long way for a gig, which meant using the M25, which is always a nightmare. This night it was awful. We worked out it actually would have been quicker to have gone the long way round the M25 rather than the 4 junctions.
It was supposed to be like a 2-hour journey, and it took us about 4.5 hours.
Easily. Now, luckily, we had a headline spot, and so we knew we had a bit of time to play with.
But by the time we parked up, we were due on the stage.
Yeah, we were running late. There was no question about that. So we're pelting it up the road, got all our stuff with us, still fastening our waistcoats. We get to the venue, we bluster our way in through the door, and we're just about okay.
Now, the promoter's a nice guy. He's just happy to see us, happy to see that we've made it there on time-ish. And he says, oh, don't worry, guys. You know, you've got a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes.
Now, I take that as, you've got a couple of minutes. Chill out, relax, don't worry. What he actually meant was you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and you're on. So Nate's gone out for a crafty fag, you know, calm his nerves. I'm at the side of the stage, setting up, making sure I've got everything I need. The promoter comes over to me again and says, "You all right?" Which I took as genuine concern.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
Absolutely, we've had a rough journey. I said, yeah, absolutely fine. He said, brilliant. What he actually meant by "you're right" is, you're right to start. Like now. So he's gone back on stage. Next thing I hear is, "Please welcome to the stage Griffin and Jones." The crowd is cheering. I look round. Nath is nowhere to be seen. I have no choice but to hit that stage and do the best I can.
And let me tell you, there is nothing more terrifying than hearing the opening lines of your act delivered in a room that you're not in.
So I'm on stage, desperately trying to open the act on my own.
I can hear this through the window. I'm still smoking at this point. So I just panicked. So I run in the quickest way I can, which is through the audience, trying to make a bit of a joke of the fact that, oh, I'm late on stage. But we got it back. Like, we got the crowd back and all was fine. But then I noticed, about 5 minutes in, the promoters give me weird looks and sort of hand signals. And it's only at that point that I realise I'm still smoking. Number 2.
What will the last 2 stories be? Will they be any more entertaining than the ones that have gone before? Why am I talking in this silly accent? Find out next month on the Griffin and Jones video blog.